Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna talk about Aapl, Iren, SMR, LUNR, Mram, and Ionq. So before that, quick disclaimer: this is not financial advice, and I'm not your financial advisor. I am Ghosty, and after navigating multiple market cycles, I have learned that logic and clear signals beat hype and narratives every time. On this channel, we skip the noise and go straight into the charts, data, and key factors that built my thesis. No fluff, no filler, just the alpha. So now that that's out of our way, let's do a quick recap of yesterday's video. So I was telling you guys before that these two trend lines were gonna act as resistance over here, plus the Fibonacci extension I explained in the previous video. So today live with my members on my private Discord, I was looking at the shorter time frame, and we can see here how price was rejecting this zone that we went over, and we had a lot of rejections. So when I saw this, I got the conviction to place a short-term short on Aapl. So I also talked about the importance of not using the price on Aapl to look for confluence, but I also explained why I was also looking at Aapl versus the SMH. So I was telling in the previous video that this area was a resistance zone, and once price got here, we had a likelihood of a rejection. So that combined with the Apple chart gave me a clear signal to take a short-term short on Apple, and what we were discussing in the previous video happened exactly. So now let's move on and talk about SMR. So like in previous videos, like I said, this support was likely not gonna hold. We got our big flush and we entered our buying zone. I accumulated a small position. I still have um, two fourth of my position in case we go lower. So if we go lower, I still can maneuver my position and dollar cost average more to get a better average on my position and eventually get the big spike potentially out of this area. But I could see us potentially going lower first. So that's how I limit my downside risk, being able to add more and not entering in just one position. Now let's take a look at LUNR. So LUNR I have been talking about. I did a detailed dive on a previous video, so I'm not gonna explain everything I went over on this one, but we had two 75% pullbacks, and then we had a big bounce. So if we get to this level, we'll have a 75% pullback, and as we're seeing right now, this was a previous support. It's now a resistance because we broke below it, and we're kind of rejecting here. So I really think we could have a flush down into this gap fill, and that's where I will start accumulating LUNR. I actually had a small position here, but just like 1/5 of my total position size that I would like to allocate to LUNR. So I'm gonna keep being patient and and waiting for price to get to the optimal zone, in my opinion. So with Mram, it's a similar style um, mindset. So I'm waiting to see if price gets to the gap fill. Actually, kind of got in there and we kind of bounced. So with this one, I'm still being a little bit defensive because in terms of percentage, we could easily fall down another 13%. So the closer we get here, I'll start like building slowly building a position, and wait for a potential bounce. So now let's check an Ion NQ. So this is a quantum play, and we had a gap here, but we didn't have the bounce. So basically, we have another gap here below plus this resistance. So I would expect something like this playing out. I would expect price testing this area and having a bullish reaction out of it. I don't know if this could be just a local low. We could have a bullish reaction and then eventually potentially heading down over here, which would coincide with a 67% drop like the previous two drops we had, like I explained in the previous video. So capitalizing on these short-term moves is what I specialize on. So let's go to Iren now. So Iren yesterday had a big spike. We had a positive news. I have been shorting way since here. I added some here, so I'm really with a good average, and I'm really waiting and seeing if Iren is being able to break above the point of control. There's a massive volume here, as you guys can see, and we have this resistance here. We were able to reclaim this resistance over here, but now we have a big challenge. We have this massive red resistance here, and we have the point of control and all of this supply zone overhead. So because I was telling you guys in previous video talking specifically about Iren, I remember going to a 3-day time frame and I told you guys we had 7 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 red candles. I was telling you guys we would likely have a green candle. The same similar thing, it happened. Claim if we reclaim this level, I would reanalyze and I would just cover my complete short position and would look for potential longs. But I'm still cautious because I still think if this area gets rejected, we could flush to a downside. But this was a good entry for longs. Actually, let's go to my X because I did a post about this. So basically in July 17, this is a scenario I was expecting. So I was expecting a bounce, right, and potentially rolling over. So in July 17 basically, which was over here, right, we actually got the bounce today. We got the bounce, right? So we got the bounce as I was expecting, and now, like I said, this is a critical zone because if we reject the same way I show on my post, we could really get this flush. But I want you to guys see, because people need to understand where you could get probability. And if you compare the Iren NDX chart, basically, let me see, I had this drawn down for you guys. Yeah, so basically I had drawn, this was a key big zone that I have in terms of rotating. So the closer price was getting to this zone is better. It means that Iren would potentially outperform the NDX, which is the Nasdaq. So see how precise this is. We had a gap fill here and we bounced out of here. I thought we were gonna go a little bit lower, and I was just being too picky with it, but I still think we could potentially retest this area before really like starting to outperform. But I'm gonna take a quick look and I'll alert my members in real time. So This is also something that I'm watching, you know. I want to see if we get this rejection. See here, we never had the death cross with the 50 and the 200 SMA. But we could potentially be anticipating this, get our final flush to a downside potentially. This is a lagging indicator, so if we get the pullback, we will get the cross, and then I would that would be the optimal scenario to switch for longs in case we get the rejection. If we break here and hold this, okay, I'll cover all my short, and then I'll look for dips to get into longs. So if you like the video, share my content, subscribe, and follow me on X.